What's up, fellas? It's Mark Parson, Cornerback Pro, former NFL cornerback of the Houston Texans and the New Orleans Saints. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about zone coverage. Remember, there are many zone coverages, and there are many ways to play zone each coverage. So you got cover two. Guess what? There's multiple ways to play it. You have cover three. There are multiple ways to play it. You got cover four. There are multiple ways to play it. But the general concept of how you split up the field is generally the same. Now, who may be playing? So you may think, all right, well, cover three, coach, cover three. That means you got two corners. You got a cornerback, and a safety, and they split the field at the in the back end in thirds. Well, that's not necessarily the truth. Sometimes you can roll coverages. So the point is I want you to understand the general concepts of it, depending on what your coach calls and how he plays it. Again, that depends on the scheme. But for you to understand each coverage, which this is an excellent video that I sent to my college guys. It's NFL Network. I want you to go type it up and look it up. Right here, here's the title. Type that in, and you're gonna hear Coach Bagg right here, Coach Steve Bagg, who's a former head NFL football coach. Okay, and he's a DC, so he's a defensive guy. And just understanding that in the NFL, shoot, in college ball, you got an offensive guy, you got a defensive guy, and it's almost like the defensive guys. Well, for a defensive player, the defensive guy is your head coach, even if he's not the head coach. So I'll give you an example. When I was in New Orleans, Sean Payton's the offensive guy. Greg Williams is a defensive guy. Of course, Sean Payton's the head coach, but we barely talk to Coach Payton. The offensive guys are used to him. He's more of an offensive guy, so he's in the offensive meetings for the most part. My head coach felt like it was Greg Williams. He's a defense coordinator, so just understand that. But anyways, go check out this video and you're gonna see. I want you to see how he splits up the field, how he explains it. He's a professional coach. He's a professional guy. He's a defensive guy. And once you understand these concepts, I want you to. So then you be like, oh, okay, cover three is this. Oh, okay, cover two is this. Oh, okay, cover four is this. Because like I said, you may be playing it a certain way, right? But another coach could play it a different way. Maybe he has a cornerback rolling up and playing the flat, right? And they're rolling the coverage. As long as you got three deep, as long as you got the certain amount under, then it's still cover three. Cover two, we used to roll it a lot. We used to roll the cover two so we could have what? Deception. So a good coach is going to have this deception. He's going to have disguise. But at the end of the day, the concept is still the same. See? So he's talking about cover three, he's talking about four underneath in these zones, and then three deep in the third. So once you understand this for each coverage, then I want you guys to learn what are the weak areas. So know your weaknesses. So now, my goal for you guys, it doesn't matter if you're playing youth, high school, college, or pro. I want you guys to think like a player coach. So think like a coach. Understand why the coach is calling these plays. Why would a coach call a play? Okay? And what are your weak areas? So you can know. Now we're talking about football IQ. See, this is football IQ. This is knowing more than the average high school football player know. Right? Even college guys. You'd be surprised. So understand what the weakness is, and this is why I do say make sure y'all go into those offensive meetings sometimes, the receiver meetings, so you can see what they're trying to attack. So you can have more. I'll give you an example. I never played with Charles Woodson, but he's one of my favorite football players. Arguably, I think he's the best DB ever. That's what I think. Of course, I'm a Deion Sanders fan, but Charles Woodson did it all, man. He played corner, safety, returner, played for umpteen years at a high level, Super Bowls, all that. But he could tackle, he could come up and hit, all of that. But I remember my boy Josh Abrams, who went to Ohio with me, and he went to the Packers. And Charles Woodson played for so many years. I mean, he's seen all the route concepts, and he knew the weak areas. So sometimes he would know if this player does this, if this setup is right here, he would kind of disguise it, and then he'll just go pick it off. He'll know. He'll be like, okay, they got a 3-by-1. They like to run this curl over here, and Darren Sharper was the same way. I'm gonna go ahead and jump this because yada yada yada. So they were able to take calculated risk, but that only happens when you have football IQ. So it's not really gambling. You ever heard of it, man? If you don't gamble, it's not about necessarily gambling. It's about prepping yourself, reading, and then taking action on it because you believe it. You've seen it so many times. You take action on it. So it's not really a gamble. It's a calculated risk, right? So I want y'all to check out this video, man. A lot of guys ask me questions about zone. Now I can, we'll talk about it in certain coverages, like we did. I think no, we didn't do it this week in our film room session, but we'll talk about it. Like we talk about midpointing and cover three, and certain ways that. Oh, here's a good one. One of my young fellas. One of my young fellas. I may ask him if I can use the clip, man. Maybe not. But his coach called cover three in the red zone, which I do not recommend to call cover three in the red zone. I would play some form of soft two or man. Soft two or man. We used to call it red two. We played it in college and in NFL. But cover three in the red zone is a setup. But if you got one receiver to your side and you're in cover three and you're in the red zone, which probably happens a lot in high school, man, look, it's almost like you almost gonna have to play like that. If he goes vertical, you're gonna have to kind of play it like it's man. Because if not, you can get mossed. You can look really silly out there because there's no room. And most likely the flat player is gonna be reading run heavy because he's in the red zone, so he's not gonna get out there. So you might as well just say, screw it, man, I'm playing man. Or coach, can we kind of play this like man out here? And if he goes under, if he goes, inside, we call him, hey, he's under or in. But if he comes vertical, I'm at the man turn on this joker. Now if you got a second threat like a tight end or another receiver, obviously you're not gonna be able to do that. That's why I said like cover three is just not a good call down there. But again, if the coach calls it, you have to play it. I would just play it more like man. But see what I'm saying? It's just different things when it comes to that. Now, a couple guys asked me about the shuffle technique or backpedaling. Now, it depends on your coach. Some coaches are more hands-on about technique. Some coaches don't care. So that depends on that. Me, I would I like I like the shuffle technique in zones. I like it. Now, you kind of want to make your man, like let's say you're playing off man and zone when you're obviously off, you kind of want to make them look the same. So that's just one thing because obviously they're gonna be able to tell if you're in man, um, if you're kind of slanted open, right? I mean, they're gonna be able to tell if you're in zone if you kind of ready, like open up to shuffle, and then man if you look like you're about to backpedal. So you don't want to give them any cues or any tendencies from that standpoint. And so when I was in Houston, we used to always we just did everything with shuffle technique, even man, just like Champ Bailey when he played for the Broncos. So it just depends what y'all want to do. Some guys, it depends on your speed, because your hips are already open when you're doing the shuffle technique. But some guys prefer backpedaling. So that's up to you and your coach. At the end of the day, I want you guys to learn the concept of the zone coverages. There are a lot of ways to play them. Just understand, hey, cover three is this, right? You split the field up in thirds, right, in the back, and you got five underneath or four underneath, depending on how you're playing it. You know, so understand that, fellas. Okay, make sure you guys email me if you have any questions on this video. Go check the video out right here. Go check it out, man. It's going to increase your football knowledge. You get to hear a real live coach, NFL guy, explain something that's going to really assist you guys in your football IQ. Is very important. Technique. We can go over technique, and I will say that probably will be between football IQ. Not even talking about being more athletic, lifting weights. Of course, that's part of it. But if you guys get your football IQ up, and then you get your technique nice, bruh, that can take you so far, man. I'm telling you right now. So make sure you guys work on your technique. I have a whole bunch of videos on the channel. Work on the technique. Um, Make sure you guys, email me at cornerbackpro@gmail.com. Ask me for the one-on-one mastery program because that is the man coverage technique. I got guys going pro off of this, guys. Got guys getting scholarships off of this. I'm telling you, definitely want to get that. And I'll include everything else. Mind and body training program, catching series, and the kick and punt return series they got from BJ Hill. Billy McMullen, former NFL wide receiver, created the catching series. It's a must. It's a must get, all right? Make sure you guys improve your skills every day, believe in yourself, and work, man. Work to be the best. There is no other way. Work to be the best that ever lived and let the chips fall where they may. After that, after you put that work in, you go all out, you leave 100% and more on the field, let the chips fall where they may, man. Everything's going to work. It's going to work out. You do your thing in the classroom, do your thing in the community, do your thing in your own mind, and ball out on the field and the weight room. All right? Peace.